Last season, we saw numerous Buckeyes get hit by the injury bug and miss multiple games in 2022, which makes me wonder what will the offense be if every running back is healthy in the fall? We discuss this and a whole lot more today on Locked on Buckeyes.
You are Locked on Buckeyes, your daily podcast on the Ohio State Buckeyes. Part of the Locked on Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, Buckeye fans? Welcome back to another episode of Locked on Buckeyes for the Locked on Podcast Network. I'm your host, Jay Stevens, also the host of the Jay Stevens Podcast. It is Friday, May 19th in the year 2023, and this episode is brought to you by Birddogs. Go to birddogs.com/LockedOnCollege, and when you enter promo code LockedOnCollege, they'll throw in a free custom Birddogs Yeti-style tumbler with every order. During today's episode, I will unveil 3 wishes I have for the Ohio State offense in 2023. Yesterday, I mentioned 3 wishes as a whole, but let's have a little bit more fun with this. 3 for the offense, 3 for the defense coming at the end of next week. So last year we saw and witnessed prior to the season, Evan Pryor get injured, went down in the spring game, missed the entire season. We saw TreVeyon Henderson miss multiple games due to an injury. We saw Miyan miss multiple games due to an injury. We saw a linebacker in Chip Trayanum move back to offense in the middle of the season due to the running back depth that was not the way anybody wanted it to be. And when I think about the 3 wishes I have for Ohio State in the fall, I start with the running backs. Yeah, quarterback's great. Going to get to McCord here in a second. At the end, going to get more to, in totality, the entire offense. But I can't go any further than wishing that the running backs have a clean bill of health all season long. Because, buddy, I am wondering and I am speculating and excited about the thought of having TreVeyon Henderson, Miyan, Dallan Hayden, Chip Trayanum, even Evan Pryor healthy for the entire regular season and postseason run. Let's look at the numbers very quickly to see exactly how things shook out or shaped out a year ago. The Buckeyes did not have a running back rush for over 1,000 yards a year ago. Miyan had 6.4 yards a carry. Dallan Hayden, 5.0 yards a carry. TreVeyon Henderson, 5.3. Oh, might I add one thing quickly. We also saw the Buckeyes use their receiver and Xavier Johnson in the backfield. Now, granted, it was a great move to get him on the field, but ultimately it was a move that was needed due to the injuries that were suffered by players in this position room. But in totality, in rushing yards in the season, Miyan played in 11 games, 825 rushing yards. Dallan Hayden played in 10 games, 553 rushing yards, the bulk of those coming in the back half of the season. TreVeyon Henderson played in 8 games, 571 rushing yards, ran for 6 touchdowns. Hayden had 5 touchdowns. Miyan had 14. But, buddy, even Chip Trayanum at the end had almost 100 rushing yards, but that was once again at the back half of the season. For Trayanum, really the last few games was where he got his run playing running back for the Buckeyes. There's a lot of speculation and thought that the Buckeyes could have a first-round running back in next year's draft. Well, that doesn't happen. That only happens if TreVeyon Henderson, the guy who was the talk of the town in this conversation, if he's healthy. Like, that's a clean thing. If TreVeyon Henderson is not healthy in the upcoming season, he's going to be at Ohio State next year or be playing college football in that year as well. Why? Because his draft stock will not be rising. It will be falling. People will be wondering, how healthy is this young man playing running back? How sturdy is his frame? But, man, I know. The Buckeyes last year, if they have healthy running backs, there's a good chance they beat Michigan. There's a good chance they beat Georgia. And there's a good chance they have a chance to win the national championship. Like, being legit, like, running back health drastically impacted the offense in a negative way Because Stroud was like, okay, cool, I got Henderson. Okay, cool, I got Williams. Oh, here's a new guy. He was at linebacker. I got to adjust the mesh point to where he wants it. Oh, offensive line. Yeah, you figure out how to block and block things. And sometimes hey, if we call this play, I'm going this way, going to cut back this way because I know how my guys are going to block this play. It's a little difficult, man. And at Ohio State, Ryan Day, there's a thought and a belief that you want to average 250 on the ground. You want to average 250 in the air. Last year, the Buckeyes almost averaged 300 passing yards at 298.3. But on the ground, averaged less than 200 at 192.4. You kind of get the gist now. I'm not saying this is all on the running backs. Some of this has to go on the coaches as well, that the coaches call a phenomenal game. Because if they call a phenomenal game, no matter if it's Ryan Day or Brian Hartline or whoever is the play caller in that day, if they do their job calling the correct plays, if they do their job preparing the team and the players for what's to come on that game on that Saturday afternoon, everything should be fine. I trust and I believe Ohio State has good players at every position. I'm not going to go out on a limb and say Ohio State has elite players at every position. But I will say this. If the Buckeyes have healthy running backs, all of them across the board, you even saw T.C. Coffey, a walk-on running back, get hurt a year ago. If the running backs at Ohio State are healthy in the fall, that's an elite backfield, man. It's elite. From TreVeyon Henderson, if he plays to the best of his abilities, Miyan Williams, if he plays to the best of his abilities, you're not only looking at possibly the best running back duo in the conference, possibly one of the best running back duos in the entire country. And I know there's a thought up there, people saying, hey, you run a 3-back system. Go ahead and make that happen. Evan Pryor, if he's healthy, put him on the field. Train him, put him on the field. I pause on that one every time I hear it, because if your top 2 guys are as lethal and as good, and if they're playing at any elite level in a Miyan Williams or TreVeyon Henderson, there's no reason to play anybody else during meaningful football that the Buckeyes are playing on Saturday. Now, there's mop-up duty. You can play the backups and do those things because there's time for them to play on the field. But ultimately, if they're playing their football, Buckeye football, and the running backs are elite, the 250 on the ground that you want to average, that can't be done. The 250 in the air you want to average, that can't be done. Having the best running back duo in the country, that's probably going to happen because Henderson and Williams, not only are they really good backs when they're playing at their best, but also they are guys that complement each other's playing styles very well. Brian Hartline, I know he wishes it. I'm sure you might as well. My first wish for the Ohio State offense in 2023 is that the running back room is healthy all year long. I got 2 more wishes for you. The next one's about Kyle McCord. What about him? We'll discuss it next on Locked On Buckeyes. This episode is brought to you by Birddogs. It's the time of year, as the weather continues to warm up, that we are going to be looking to revamp our wardrobe. Add different things that are stylish and that allow us to be comfortable when the temperatures keep going up. Well, Birddogs, they provide that for you. Their stretchy fabric makes my legs look great, and they're comfier than my other shorts and pants. They give me the freedom to wear one pair of shorts or pants on the golf course, to a meeting, a date, or hanging out with friends. And Dave Portnoy does pizza reviews wearing Birddogs and talks about how he hates the pizza, but his legs look great in Birddogs. So go to birddogs.com/LockedOnCollege. And when you enter promo code LockedOnCollege, they'll throw in a free custom Birddogs Yeti-style tumbler with every order. Once again, go to birddogs.com/LockedOnCollege. And when you enter promo code LockedOnCollege, they'll throw in a free custom Birddogs Yeti-style tumbler with every order. Thanks for making Locked On Buckeyes your first listen every single day. Make sure you come back next week. Going to try to have another recruiting update with our guy, Brian Smith. I also have 3 wishes for the Buckeyes defense in the fall. That'll be coming your way at the end of next week. Make sure you subscribe to Locked On Buckeyes on Apple, Spotify, or even YouTube so you don't miss a beat. Now, I would have thought at some point, Kyle McCord will be a mix as a wish I have or even you have for the Buckeyes in the fall. Part of the reason I went with the running backs is because I do think the Buckeyes offense would have been even more lethal. I know it would have been if everybody was healthy. And a lethal running back and the running backs being healthy, ultimately, that's going to help Kyle McCord or whoever the starting quarterback is going to be in the fall. Now, I keep saying Kyle McCord because I believe Kyle McCord is going to be QB1 for the Buckeyes in the fall. That has not been announced. Ryan Day has not made that public, but I am of the firm belief, and numerous people are as well, that Kyle McCord will be the starting quarterback for the Buckeyes in 2023. But to keep it in context, this is not going to be a Kyle McCord-centered conversation. Even though I slipped up earlier, it mentioned his name. Whoever the starting quarterback is at Ohio State, my second wish for the Buckeyes offense is that individual balls out. Different playing styles from Devin Brown and Kyle McCord. Don't believe Tristan Gebbia is in the conversation. I don't believe Lincoln Kean holds the incoming freshman quarterback. I don't believe he's going to have a chance to be the starting quarterback for the Buckeyes week 1 or at any point during the season if everyone is healthy. So when you think about that and keep it in context, just ball out, man. Just ball out. And I mentioned earlier that there's a different skill set for the two guys that are involved because when you think about Devin Brown, a little bit more athletic, phenomenal arm. Some say he's more of a gunslinger type of quarterback. Kyle McCord, a smart, sturdy quarterback, good arm on him, good decision making. I mean, even if you look at McCord, now I know he didn't play very much a year ago, only played in 7 games. He was 16 of 20, 80% completion percentage last year, 9.5 yards per pop, 190 passing yards and 1 touchdown. I mean, it's a small sample size. It is not something that when you look at McCord, you're saying, ooh, yeah, that's my guy. Based off what he did a year ago, you just can't do that. For Devin Brown, suffered an injury on, I believe, his throwing hand during spring practice, missed a spring game due to said injury. You want Devin Brown to be healthy. I wanted to be healthy as well, but it doesn't matter the skill set here. I don't care what your skill set is. It don't matter if you're Peyton Manning, if you're Michael Vick, if you're Lamar Jackson in college, if you're Vince Young or Matt Leinart, if you're Cardale Jones or Braxton Miller or Craig Krenzel. Let's go back a little bit. Kirk Herbstreit playing for the Buckeyes. Don't matter who the quarterback is in the fall. My wish for anybody that's a quarterback for the Buckeyes in 2023 is that they ball out. Just play a game. Every single play, pre-snap read, post-snap verification, and then dissect the play, dissect the defense, move that thing up and down the field like you're made to do it. And also, by doing so, whoever that quarterback is will probably be an All-American. I mean, if they played to the caliber that Stroud played at and Fields played at and Dwayne Haskins played at and JT Barrett played at and all the other great quarterbacks that have come through Ohio State, if they play at that level in the fall, you're probably going to be an All-American. You're probably going to be a first-round pick. I mean, almost every starting quarterback Ryan Day would have coached since he's been at Ohio State would have been a first-round pick if whoever comes in the fall balls out. Now, both quarterbacks that are in the running to be the starting quarterback can still come back next year. I don't know if that's going to happen. I don't know how it's just a wish. I don't know if they ball out, if they return to school or not. I don't know. Devin Brown has to. Kyle, wow, words, buddy. Kyle McCord can return. But realistically, if he decided to go out, he could join Stroud, Fields, and Haskins as being Ryan Day coach quarterbacks that are first-round picks. The only one that was not a first-round pick was JT Barrett, and I don't believe Barrett was drafted in the 2018 draft. I don't think he was. 2017 was the last season he played, would have been the 2018 draft. I know he got signed, I believe, by the Saints practice squad mini camp that offseason. I don't believe he got drafted or picked up by anybody else after that. But that's what you're looking at right now if you're an Ohio State quarterback who balls out even in your first year as a starter. You ball out 4,000 plus, 4,500 plus passing yards, 40 plus touchdowns. Let's say you add in 5 rushing touchdowns as well. You're going to be a first-team All-American. Now, granted, who are you going up against? A Drake May, a Caleb Williams. If you ball out, you're better than J.J. McCarthy. I'm not the biggest J.J. McCarthy guy or fan, not just because he's at Michigan. If I was trying to just be a football analyst, McCarthy's okay. He's an okay quarterback. He's not one of the top 10 quarterbacks that the sport has to offer at the Power 5 level or at the FBS level, even if you want to add in the G5 quarterbacks. No, sir. No, sir, Bob. But, man, this is a wish. Some say wishful thinking is a little bad. It's negative, and it's something that if you do it, if you make a statement, it's like, oh, wishful thinking, it's probably not going to happen. Buddy, this is a wish where I'm just we all have our three wishes. You rub the bottle. The genie grants you what your wishes are. We all have things in our lives. I have things that I would wish in my life. Some of them are time sensitive. Let's fast forward to July 1st. Big day in my life is going to be that day. Let's just fast forward from May 19th, May 18th now as I record this to July 1st. And let's just go ahead and put a ring on it. Let's just go ahead and make that thing happen very, very quickly. Would love to. July 1st, July 2nd, July 3rd, June 28th, June 25th. Big days, big days. I'd even skip my birthday if I want to go to July 1st. But, hey, skip my birthday. Let's put a ring on it, baby. But that's the thing. Like, we have things that we want to wish for. We have things, especially with the offense, that we hope happen in the fall. I have my wishes, or I have wishes I have, and I'm sure you do too. I didn't mention this earlier. Hop in the YouTube comment section on YouTube. Let everyone know what your wishes are for the Buckeyes offense. You're going to hear a third one of mine here in a second. I am sure you are someone that's probably has a wish for Kyle McCord or Ryan Day or Brian Hartline or whatever the case may be. You have a wish for them. You certainly do. I will tell you this. I don't really have anything for the receivers or even Case Dover. Like, them playing at their game, I do have some I can put out there. We only got 3 for today's show. But realistically, when it comes to the receivers and Case Dover, I know what I am getting. I'm comfortable and satisfied with that production. I think you could be looking at 2 first-round wide receivers drafted in next year's draft, Emeka Egbuka and Marvin Harrison Jr., and Case Dover could easily be a day 2 pick, round 2 or round 3. I realistically and I seriously think that's going to happen, which is why in the very next segment of the show, you're not going to hear me discuss very much production or wish for the receivers or even Case Dover. However, there is another position group that's going to come up shortly in a few seconds that I have one wish for. What position group is it? We'll discuss it next on Locked On Buckeyes. Thanks for making Locked On Buckeyes your first listen every single day. Make sure if you're an Apple or Spotify listener, you leave a 5-star review. If you're on the Apple podcast, leave a rating as well. It is a free way. We all love things that are free in life, and this one is free and easy. Takes a couple seconds to write a review, leave a 5-star rating to allow more people to enjoy Locked On Buckeyes every Monday through Friday, 5 days a week. Ohio State news, Ohio State football. We all love it and help more people enjoy the podcast as well. Locked On Buckeyes is a part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Man, I actually had another wish on my list. It's going to come up here in this very next few minutes, but this wish here is not. The third one is not centered on one position group, which is why I'm kind of revamping it, because there's one position group consists of 5 guys who start. And it's in the basketball team with a starting 5. This is a football team with a starting 11 on 2 sides of the ball. And this position group is the one that has the most questions about it going into even the month of June, a big recruiting month. There's still a lot of questions about Ohio State's offensive line. Carson Hinsman probably going to start. Donovan Jackson, Matthew Jones going to start. Joshua Fryer going to start. Josh Simmons, is he going to start? We're going to find out. Tego Chichibola, is he going to start? Not sure yet. You're kind of getting the gist. There are questions with this group. There are 3 solid starters. Jackson, Donovan Jackson, Matthew Jones, and Joshua Fryer. They're going to start. Jackson at left guard, Matt Jones at right guard, and Fryer's going to be either left or right tackle, depending on how things shape up in that group. But one thing I have for this unit as a whole, all 5 starters, it don't matter who it is. It doesn't matter if it's me at 5'6" starting off of the line for the Buckeyes, which everybody knows would not happen just based off the height that I have right now in my current state of being. Or if I am a Wyatt Davis from a few years ago, if I'm a Josh Myers, or if I'm a Paris Johnson Jr., I am escaping offensive lineman names. We talk about them here quite a bit in the offseason. One thing I wish for this position group in this unit, be the best in the country. Just be the best in the country. Because the other wish I had, here's a bonus one here for you. I wish Ohio State had a balanced offense. I'm not going off the wall and off the rails with these wishes. They're realistic and things that I literally think will happen. But if you have the best offensive line of the country, I mean, literally the offensive line that wins the award for the best line of the country in the Joe Moore Award, I mean, you could be the best and not win the award. Marvin Harrison Jr. did not win the Biletnikoff Award, which goes to the best receiver in the country, but I still believe he was the best receiver in the country a year ago. So the offensive line, if they are doing their job, if they are up to par, if they are the team in the unit that leaves no questions, they move people consistently, they keep the pocket clean. McCord gets sacked less than 5 times. Like realistically, looking at a quarterback who drops back and throws 300 plus passing yards a game, 3 touchdowns a game, but only gets sacked less than 5 times in a season. You could be looking at a guy that's like, ooh, why are you so good? What benefits you? What are you doing during the week to prepare for the games? And McCord, I keep saying McCord Devin Brown could eventually say, it ain't me, man. It ain't, I mean, it is partly me, but it's not all me. I got to give credit to those 5 guys up front. They keep me upright. They keep me clean. There's a reason why when we play on grass fields that my jersey has no spot of dirt on it. It's because of the 5 guys up front. There's a reason why Miyan, Williams, or TreVeyon, Henderson ball out when healthy in the fall. Why? Because the O-line opens up massive holes for them. I remember the opening game of the 2021 season against Minnesota. C.J. Stroud's debut as Ohio State starting quarterback. And I remember that broadcast, Thursday night, I believe it was Gus Johnson, Joe Cloud on the call. And I remember watching the game and saying, we got 5 guys that are big up front. They played 5 tackles, started 5 tackles. They moved their Mumford inside. They brought DeJuan Jones in. They moved Paris Johnson to the other side of the line and inside. And that game, I was more excited about that than I was before the game started. Because, buddy, those holes they were opening up for Henderson and Williams to run through were massive. We hear often people say that, man, you could drive a Mack truck through that hole. And literally there were times maybe not a Mack truck, that's pretty massive, but you could maneuver a motorized vehicle through those holes because they were opened up, 1, that wide, but 2, very, very quickly. And it makes me wonder, as I think about this wish that I have for Ohio State, that the offense is the best O-line in the country, can it happen? The running back health thing is one that injuries happen. It's literally a wish. McCord or Brown, whoever the starting QB is, can ball out 3,500, more like 4,000, 4,500 plus passing yards, 40 plus passing touchdowns, add in about 5 rushing touchdowns. Like, you're looking at a guy who's probably going to be an All-American. But this one with the offense, there's so many details. You got 5 guys that are trying to work in the offseason to be a well-oiled machine. And it's not just a 1 game or a 2 game or a 3 game. You got Indiana week 1. You got Youngstown State week 2. You got Western Kentucky week number 3. Lesser opponents. You got Notre Dame week 4. That could be a coming up party for this O-line. Like, you're working, you're grinding, you're working, you're grinding. And all of a sudden, week 4, game 4 of the season, what happens? Notre Dame has no answer for the Buckeyes O-line because they're showing they're on the road to being the best offensive line in college football in 2023. My wishes are here. What are yours? Jump in the YouTube comment section on this video. Leave your 3 wishes. start a conversation. I have one here over the past 25 minutes. You can start one as well. As always, you can follow me on Twitter at jstevens07. Send all of your emails to jstevens317@gmail.com. The weekend is here. Let's enjoy it. We're on the heels of a busy, big month of recruiting for the Ohio State Buckeyes. Make sure you subscribe to Locked On Buckeyes because we'll be locked in on that recruiting that the Buckeyes are doing, hosting those official visits during June. We'll be locked in and covering it here every single day. Feel Good Friday. Let's feel good on this day. Let's enjoy the weekend and our time together. For Locked On Buckeyes here on a Friday, I am Jay Stevens. I'll see you next time.